Welcome. Look at, isn't this cool? They're back.
To haunt you.
Well, and to help you, because there's just good questions that we're going to do tonight. It's the wrap blouse. If you've been shopping, the wrap blouse is everywhere. I mean, it is just permeated just every facts of life. So we're going to do some versions of the wrap because you'll see a lot of really cute versions and just little changes here and there. But, it's just going to be fun tonight. We're really happy to be back. Happy to have Belinda. Happy to have Laura.
Yeah, Happy New Year's.
I know. Happy New Year to everybody. And it's already webcast time. Did that go fast? All right. So we're going to get started. But before we did, because they looked so good the minute they walked in, I really wanted to talk about, Laura, what you have on. That's just
Don't
gorgeous.
Remember the style.
So
I'm bad at your numbers.
418 Fisher's
418 Fisher's blouse.
I'll always be here to help you. She said she did the little trim by hand.
I did the trim by hand because I just
though.
couldn't get that 3/8 of an inch. I also did it on the cuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The fabric is silk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's really beautiful. Just lays beautiful. Fits beautiful. And Belinda's got on
Fifth Avenue cape.
the Fifth Avenue cape. It's just adorable. On the back here, she had to put a little zipper. What is this?
It's actually a leather trim that had some little beading on it that I purchased at one of the fabric stores locally.
Just creative. All right, girls, now you're going to go strip.
All right.
You ready? All right, so while they're going and changing, we're going to talk about the wrap and what the wrap is doing lately. I think it is important to get this wrap to fit correctly. I think of all the blouses we wear, personally, I think it's most important that the wrap fit correctly. The one I have on, I did out of a knit. So the wrap blouse and the Diane's wrap, we're going to do both. Laura's going to do the blouse, Belinda's going to do the dress. It's the same fitting issue, same pattern, one's longer, one's shorter. The whole reason I wanted you to see the difference is because when the dress is a dress, because the wrap dress, it's really faster and quicker to have the dress pattern. So we put them both kind of as PoM. Mainly the wrap blouse is the PoM. You're seeing wrap blouses all over the place and versions of wrap blouses. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover. The one I did though, just going back to what I did, I love when you take a knit and put it into a woven pattern. I do it with jackets all the time, and I don't really, I do change the sleeve because a woven sleeve in a knit is just too big. It's just too big. But I didn't change the body. I left that circumference in, and I just love it. It's not tight. It's not a tight wrap. It's not a negative ease wrap. It's not any of that. The fabric on this one, I should probably tell you, 2782. It's a charcoal. It's just beautiful. It was, and I think that as we sew, we pick a fabric that we love, and I think through the sewing process, we actually get to where we either hate it or we love it even more. And this is a fabric that I just loved even more as I went through that process. And I wore it. I went out to dinner a couple nights ago, and I wore it, and I just love it. I just love it. So I didn't do anything different. I just left off the collar, made it a V-neck. You guys know how to do that. And then use your templates. We're going to use your templates a lot. I just laid out. These things are so convenient. I mean, I've been preaching templates for a zillion years, but to actually have them made and cut out and actually be able to use them, they're just so easy. They're just quick and easy to use. So I used a knit sleeve, no collar, and the rest is just the same. Okay, so before even Laura comes back, do we have questions that we... why no Sew Expo in Puyallup? Love these gals. Love these gals? We have a hands-on workshop, you guys, that is like the week of Puyallup or the week after Puyallup. So Puyallup, for me, is a very inefficient use of time. I think for me and for you. I don't think we really progress like we could, but we spend a couple days there. So that's not logical to me. It's more logical as we want to help and we want to do hands-on. That we can get in and do a workshop and get out. So it's there's a hands-on workshop. It's right in Seattle. It's the beginning of March, I think. It might be the week after Puyallup. And so there's really, I don't know what to do in Puyallup. It's too time-consuming for us to be involved. That's all. We love Puyallup. Yeah, is that what you mean? We love those gals? We love those gals too. They just need to make the conference more efficient. Write that on your thing. All right. I think Miss Laura is you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Aren't you cute? Want to put seam allowances on the outside?
Just on the sides. You can cut them any way you want.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, but you
Okay.
did not permit me to change this in any way. Right?
Oh yeah, she should.
This was hard not changing as I went when I knew that I was going to have a couple of matches.
So she texts me back and forth. Do you want me to change it? No. Do you want me to make this? No. Do you want me to? No. No.
All I
Laura.
got was no's.
No. Well, it's easier than explaining why. Because I really want you all to learn from it more than I want you to learn from it. Is that?
Oh, sure.
Not
sure.
nice, is it?
No, but
That didn't come out right. I'll make sure I take care of you, but I want you all to see how it is exactly out of the package.
out of the box.
Right, and not make changes to it.
Only one.
So your blouse is beautiful. You did make a change even after all those no's?
Even after
Oh
no,
my
she
gosh,
wrote back.
you guys.
Honest to goodness, she wrote back and said, "Second thought, do change the
Oh, I
sleeve
did,
because
you're
I
right.
went from one
Oh, that's
size in the
right.
bodice to another size
You're
in the
right, I
sleeve,
did.
and I wanted to use my templates."
There's no reason not to change a sleeve. If you know the sleeve is not working for you,
Right.
there's no reason not to do that.
Mhm.
So I gave in. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about your 418 for just a minute because the 418 is the blouse you had on, Fisher's blouse. And that and this should be the same size.
They were fours,
Are they the same? Fours. Okay, and cup size.
cup size. Remember, we went all through that shopping expedition where
But
I
we're going to
changed.
pretend that nobody
Nobody-
knows you.
Okay, nobody knows me.
What's
okay,
the cup size did you use on
D.
the pattern? Okay, so she used a size 4 D cup, and she made it up just like the pattern. But she knows that her bust I'm giving them the short story. The bust
Okay.
circumference, she goes larger for a bust circumference, and she has bird arms. She has little bitty arms. That wasn't nice. Bird arms, that was meant to be flattering, but it didn't sound flattering at all. She has very nice, thin, beautiful arms. Is that better? Much better. I'm so sorry. Okay. So she has thinner arms than the pattern.
yes,
So you always blame the pattern maker?
I always blame the pattern.
And you change sizes. So she knows that if she uses a 4 sleeve, it's too...
It's too big, much too big in the circumference, and the arms.
Is bird arms a bad thing?
No, I think bird legs is worse.
Yeah. No. But I think bird arms is a compliment.
bird
I want
arms
to
are-
have bird arms. Okay. So anyway, because the 4 you made up and it was just too big, she goes down to a 3. She
In
goes
the
down to
sleeve.
the 3 armhole, and she knows how to do that.
Mhm.
Everybody knows how to do that. You can't listen to these webcasts and not know how to do it. And if it's your first time listening, you just put in armhole templates, and you'll get more than you
Yes.
want to hear on that.
Right, and I have your new plastic ones that are so pretty. I hate to cut them up, so I used my old orange ones. They're
Well,
kind
the
of getting
templates do
driven.
not do you any good unless you cut them up.
I know. That's why I don't want to cut them
I'll
up.
give you one set to save and one set to cut up.
That's a deal.
Will that work?
That's a deal.
Okay. All right. So you just made it up exactly like it is.
Exactly like it is.
It looks pretty good.
Now,
Okay.
oh, wait a minute. I did notice one thing on me. The size 4 is a 40 what? 5, what is the bust measurement? I can't. I don't have my glasses
Here,
on.
they're right there. Grab the, yeah. She
Oh.
can't see.
I
I
can't
got glasses on. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, I got.
Now, those are
good heavens!
Oh.
I'm going to go
They're-
through the TV.
They're magnifiers.
Okay.
If you can't see,
a
I
45. It has a 45-inch bust line.
Okay.
Okay. My bust, just with the measurement, is about 42 and a half. But I
Okay.
didn't. But since I plan to make this over again in a knit, I knew that the knit number 3 is going to fit me better.
Okay, so this is a really good point, which is
Yeah.
why they are so valuable. Because if you decide, although I made this in a knit, and I did not change the size, I made the same
you did?
size.
Okay.
Yeah, because it depends on the knit. If it's a firm knit, like this is more firm, to where if it's soft and drapey, you'd want to go down. But if you go too far down, the
It's going to
gap,
cut me. Yes.
the gap will not, the wrap will unwrap. Is that
Okay.
fair?
Okay.
You got to be careful.
I gotta be
You don't
careful.
want the wrap to unwrap. Okay, so let's do L, C, and D. Gosh, we haven't done this for a long time. I forgot. Which letter comes first?
Okay. My length.
L, C, and D.
Okay.
With a princess seam, with silhouette patterns, you never have to worry about length. Which is why I didn't want you to do any changes, because you lower your dart, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried you'd lower the princess seam. Would you have?
No.
Okay.
I got rather carried away with the dots, but you can see that they're in the right place.
No, there's no right place a princess seam. I can't screw up a pattern that bad. I've been doing this too long. Don't lower or raise a princess seam dart. Princess seam. There's no princess seam dart. A princess seam. So there's no length issues here. Length is going to be fine. In the back of a garment that's princess seam, there's an area called a float area that, again, I doubt that you'll have to do any issues there either. So I would just kind of throw length out the window. Circumference, she already picked her size. She already picked her sleeve. So that means all the problems that we're going to have are going to be... No, depth. Depth.
Okay, I get
Did
it.
I hear what you said? That was pretty funny. Are going to be depth. There's no other issues. And they're all the pattern's fault. You are gorgeous. Okay, so when we start looking at depth, I always have a tendency to go from the shoulder seam. Did you change the shoulder seam?
Nope. They're both the same, and I've got my chicken wing.
You do. Okay, so let's just show that off. Now that wasn't nice to call her chicken wing, because my bird and the chicken should both be the same. Okay, so her shoulder blade is more prominent on one side than the other. Do you make them the same?
I made them the same on this because you didn't allow me to change it. Those nose sunk in.
Do you slash the back typically?
Yes.
Oh, let's slash. Shoot, I don't have any. Oh, Belinda's over here with extra fabric. She's all ready for us. She's got the strips even pre-cut. You guys spoil me rotten, you know that? Okay, so we're going to slice the back. Just know that sometimes when you're dealing with the princess seam back, even if like the 600 blouse you have to slash, you may not have to slash the princess seam, because on the 600 blouse, the classic, this shoulder dart is moved. And so when you take away a dart, sometimes, not always, you lose depth. So in this case, the dart is still there. It's just converted to a princess seam. So it's possible that you don't have to, I'm going to have you turn just slightly that way. It's possible that you may not have to slash. So
This isn't too bad, really.
No, and so I'm always going to tell you, even if you slash on something else, don't slash, I don't know, on a princess seam. Usually it just doesn't need it. All right, so we're going to slash.
What's this one?
Well,
Okay.
we're going to slash both.
Okay.
Because we can add both and then we can fix the one. I guess I shouldn't have you go that way, should I? Because they can't see. We're going to slash both, and then I'm going to fix the one side on the shoulder. So we're going to make the depth the same at the back. And see, that's not a lot, but it makes a lot of difference, doesn't it?
And it also raises this back here, which I thought was a little too low for me, when you put the collar.
That's a really good point. I probably, in this pattern, when you guys make a muslin, you probably ought to put on the collar.
I have it if we want
At least to baste it on, because if that collar goes up to the ceiling straight up, you know that you need a slash in the back. It should follow the slope of your body and should come into your neck. All right, so we're just going to put that in here. And I think we have done this enough to where you guys know this. You guys know how to do it. You know why you do it. You're just pros, which is really exciting to me. I have seen photos of some just incredible things you all make, and it's so very exciting to watch you just get better and better and better. Okay, so we're going to put that under there. We're going to iron it in place. Except that it doesn't iron in place. We actually have to take some time and pin it. And I haven't even looked at the questions. I guess I should, but I know there are questions going to be, how do I do this on myself? I can hear it. How do you guys do this on yourself? Because I know you both do it on yourself because you both need it.
I do one change at a time. Take it off, put
Slash
it back on,
and
slash it.
So what would you say? I would say if you give yourself about a 1/2 inch spread on this. Hey, Brett, can they see this okay?
Usually what I do is I just kind of look in the mirror and figure out approximately how much I'm going to need to raise that neckline.
You're so smart, Belinda.
To the neck.
So smart.
And then I use that as my initial spread in the center
Belinda,
back.
speaking of smart, you know Rhonda.
Yes.
So you guys, we're giving a shout out to Rhonda. Rhonda's from one area in Australia, hi Rhonda, where the fires are. And they've been evacuated twice, but they're okay. Everything's okay and it's under control, but you guys know those fires have been awful, awful, awful. So I know when we've had problems, there's so many Australians who have donated to our causes. You guys would be impressed. So we donated a little bit to their fire help, just to help them, because there's a lot of horrible stuff going on. So Rhonda, if you're watching, and you may not, because I don't know if you're even back in your house, but we love you. We're thinking of you. Be careful. Okay, and a lot of the girls who were at Spiffy know Rhonda because she's come up a couple years. Okay, that just looks beautiful, my dear.
Okay.
Okay? So what I'm going to do then...
I can't see. Oh, I'll see later, but...
I did spread it. Yeah,
okay.
It's right about a ½ inch. It might be 5/8, but it's right about it. And then I'm going to pull this shoulder seam up just a little bit more than the other one, and that'll give it a little more depth. And again, draping is so easy, because if it's not right, then the cloth will tell you it's not right. And if it's right, the cloth will tell you it's right. Hope everybody had good holidays, and hope you're sewing a lot. I'm sewing so much, it's ridiculous. My machines keep screaming at me, we need a break, we need a break, we need a break. Okay, is everybody okay with that? That looks beautiful. Okay, so you start with the shoulder, rounded back. Those are things you do first. Should I answer questions? Is the dress the same as the blouse pattern but longer? Yes and no. I mean, there's some tweaks whenever you add length to something, and I've done those tweaks, but it's basically the same. Will there be a winter pattern pack? Well, it's spring. There'll be a spring patterns that'll come out. Well, we're pushing for Friday, but I don't know if we'll have them out that soon. Can you hold the pattern up again, please? I didn't see it. This pattern right here?
Yes.
In searching for fabric, I can't see a picture of the fabric. Is it my system? I don't know. But in the URL, just click on a fabric, any fabric. Just click on the picture. Then the URL, the last 4 numbers are the numbers I give. Just change those numbers and it'll take you to all the numbers I'm telling you. Okay, so it's probably not your system. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Would you do the same technique slash across the bum for protruding bottom?
The skirt is shorter in the back.
That'd be a circumference issue, wouldn't it?
No. Skirt is shorter in the back. I mean, it could be, but you know, if it's shorter in the back, yeah, you can slash across the rear end to give. If it shorter at center back than side. Okay. So that looks really good. So the next thing, we're going to go down and fix this little gappy that she has here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do that, and again, in a princess seam. You're going to do it right here at the side seam. It's just as if there were a dart there. It's been moved, but the dart that's been moved should have been bigger than the one that was there. Is that okay to say that? She's a D+. Or the
oh, we get very intimate here.
Always, it's silhouette patterns. All right, so look how pretty that looks. It doesn't change the armhole. It's just easy. It's a dart. It goes to nothing at the princess seam. And then in the back, I'm going to show you that there's a couple right here, Laura. Just turn this way a little bit. Right there. See how there's some diagonal lines there? That's because that's being caused by this. So you're just going to drape this up also. And you are going to pin that so that the side seams match. And then that will taper to nothing. If it doesn't taper to nothing, actually on Laura it doesn't taper to nothing. It kind of keeps going. So I'm going to let it keep going. Because I'm going to bring it all through the back, and it actually fits her back a little bit better. So you're always going to listen to the fabric. Take time to make a muslin, you guys. Laura, how long did it take you to make the muslin?
Oh gosh, less than an hour.
Okay, good girl. Less than an hour. Now, once I
got the pattern fixed, you know.
Once
cut out all the parts. All the parts.
So that's a very good reason to preserve it once you've done that. Okay, and that is very, very pretty. Now, when you have this on, I want you to mark like the waist, so that when I'm going to show you some styles, and you're going to need to know where the waist is if you like the styles. So I would mark parts of you of where you want. And that's it, LCD. Do you like that?
I do.
You can go off and look at it, and there's something you don't like, because we're actually really draping her so that she can, make this. I guess you didn't need that, though. I guess.
Not really. I mean,
She
I
could've
did.
done all
I
the
did.
changes.
No, I could have done the changes.
She's just doing it for you guys. She's just doing it for us. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, any questions you want to ask Laura? Pattern number 650.
650.
650, the no gap wrap. And it stays tight here because it fits. Number one, it's got a wrap on the inside, a tie on the outside. If it's too big, the back can't be too big. If it's too big, it'd be just a mess. How do you fix an uneven hem when fitting the wrap dress? So the key is the word uneven, it should not be used. You need to tell me if it's higher in the front. Where is it uneven? Where it is uneven is the key. Uneven is obvious, but where it's uneven is going to give you a key to the problem. Is that a good one? Okay, so do you want to hang?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to go look at your top to make sure it's okay?
I will.
You can go out and come back.
Okay.
You can get your water if you want.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because once you're in, Laura, that's it. You're stuck. Okay. All right, so how do you fix an... I didn't catch what sleeve she is using.
Number 3.
Well, she's using the sleeve that comes to the pattern, but she's just using a smaller size. But you could use any sleeve from any blouse pattern because they're all the same armhole and they would fit. So you can use your 600, you could use your 418, you could use your 900, which is your Carol's jacket. It has a cuff and a placket on the bottom. So almost every time I do a blouse, I do a different sleeve. So that you have all those sleeves, you have a whole sleeve wardrobe. And you can just pick. And any size 3 will fit the armhole, and you just use the armhole. You okay? Okay. So, Belinda. Well, no, wait. You can come in. I put in 2 chairs just so you didn't have to stand there. It looks like you've got a like a hospital
gown.
Hospital gown.
So if you're a nurse or a doctor, you know what pattern to use, right?
Oh yeah, it is not open in the back though.
No, it's not open in the back.
Okay, so just for a minute while we're on the blouse, I want to look at some blouses. And so let's look at one, if you want. Because there's some things out there that you may not recognize to be the wrap dress, or the wrap blouse, but they are. This example is perfect. So I did this. And I love it. I just really, really like it. So you can see, number one, like I didn't want to do sleeveless, and I didn't want to do a lot of those things they did, but you can still very much get the same effect. So I've done the pattern work on this, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. The bottom, because it was a V-neck, is Patty. It's a new one, 120, Patty's Princess Seam top. And I didn't do the band, but it's a princess seam. And the fabric, I'm supposed to tell you that because you're going to ask, is $29.52. $29.52. Then in that picture, that is the designer on that is actually Bailey 44, and I went and looked at that. That's actually attached. And if you look really closely at that picture, you can actually see that it's kind of attached and it's pulling where it's attached onto the blouse. And I didn't like that at all. I thought it looked really cheap, pulling. So I didn't attach mine. Mine is completely separate, so that if I wanted to wear it on, I could, but if I didn't want to, I could have it separate. But this is so, amazing. All the fabrics you could do it out of. If you pick a beautiful fabric that's sheer but you don't have a lot, you only need a yard. It's like so easy and so fun. So maybe it's just the heart of a sewer. I just love this top. Let's go to, do we need to answer questions? Can we use Diane's wrap dress pattern to make this top? Are there any changes needed? They're basically the same. The angle of the back in a blouse might be too severe because it's been corrected for a dress.
Mine is Diane's wrap dress.
Yeah, that's why we're going to show you both. Okay, it hikes up in the front. Okay, so if the dress hikes up in the front, that means that there's not enough depth. Are we talking this pattern? Yeah, if you're talking this pattern, you guys, I don't think you'll have that issue. But if you're talking a regular pattern, you will have that issue because there's no depth in a lot of the patterns out there. But just make sure you're because this one really has a lot of depth in it. The princess seam front, princess seam back. You've got a lot of depth in the body of it. I just don't think you'll have any issues with it hiking anywhere. Okay? Okay, thinking... You guys, let's stay to the subject on hand, okay? If you have an issue about something else, just shoot me an email. All right, let's talk about the wrap blouse tonight and the wrap dress if we could, okay? Okay, so I want to go to the pattern work for this one. And that would be A, but I think, yeah. Okay, so here it is. I put it up on screen just so that when you're referring back to this, you don't have to listen to me. You can just go to the screen. So if you noticed, the sleeve is not being used, the collar is not being used, the ties are not being used. But what you are doing is you're extending the front, you're making it a V-neck, and you really want to use your French curve. I did that with a straight line just because the program I was using. You'll make that a V-neck, and then you'll extend that into a tie 4 inches. So this portion right here is extended out 4 inches from where the wrap would normally be. Notice the back goes from, I'm only using the back piece and the side back piece, and I'm cutting off the back piece at the shoulder. If you notice, the whole neck edge is gone because you don't need any of that. And I'm adding 20 inches along here. And the reason why is because it's got to go around my back, it's got to go around my front. You don't want the tie, if you notice the girl in the picture, you don't want her tie at the side of you. You want it at the front of you because it will look nicer. So the back's got to be much longer than the front because the front's not going anywhere and the back's going all the way around. Now, I would suggest, if you just don't know, just cut them both longer. You don't need any longer than 20, but you could cut the front longer and then you can always cut it off. So you can kind of see what you like or what you want to do. But there's a lot of beautiful fabrics that can be used. This is really simple to do. And you can see theirs was a sheer on top. And there was a couple different pictures of this. They were all really, really pretty. But again, I just, the one thing I love about sewing is I can add a sleeve. I can do this. I can just change it the way I want it. It's just so nice. I'm spoiled rotten completely. Okay, then the next one I want you to see a little wrap top is this one right here. And you really can't see the beauty of this. You know, the little lines, and it's a terrible picture. But I wanted you to see that what it is, and it's not really the main picture I wanted. The main picture I wanted, I found the top in the store, and I couldn't find the picture online. But it looked very much like this one, the orange. I'm going to send her out of here. It looks very much like this orange one. So what you've got here is you've got the wrap top plus the tank top. And so we've added extra here so that it comes down, comes up, and you've got a tank top, and that tank top is sewn in. And I guess you could always not sew it in, but I will tell you that I've worn it, and I love the fact that it's attached. It's just, oh, I love this top. I just really, really like it, and I hope you all, it's pretty simple to do. We're going to show you the pattern work. Okay? So this is $27.90, the fabric. Bailey 44. Again, you can go on Bailey 44 site, and I could not find it. But I did find it in the store, and I measured all these lengths and stuff so that you got the blousing portion kind of right at the right place. But I'll show you how we did that. Okay, so see there what I did is, again, knit sleeve because it's a knit. Don't try to use I think a woven personally would just be too big. It's your call. I think even in the model, when I look at this picture, it's too big. It's too blousy. I just don't care for it. So you're going to leave the back like it is. You're going to shorten the side seam. And what I did is I used my tank 514, and I made the side seam equal the tank side seam so that they all sewed in to be the same length of the tank. That's kind of what I used as kind of a standard. So I took it from the tank side seam then to the length of the back, because if you notice in that black picture, the back is longer and kind of scoops around the rear end and then comes up in a wrap in the front. So I left it the same. So that front piece is really simple to do. You're going to make 2 little changes. Remember I said you're going to want to know where your waist is. And so here is the waist. You can make it a little longer than the waist. It's all up to you. I think I took off 4 inches. And you're going to turn it, twist it, and go down. So when you talk about your fabric requirements, so here is my wrap top. That's a V-neck. That's the side. I cut it off. I did it again. And then you turn it around and put it together. And it goes like that. And the side panel sews in. It's pretty easy. It's really fun. You need a fabric that you like on both sides, because this is the wrong side and this is the right side. So you've got to use a fabric that both sides will show. I have seen tops where they didn't do that and they made a seam across the bottom, but that seam never
Doesn't drape well.
It doesn't drape well. That's the best. That's a great way to say it. It doesn't drape well. It pokes.
Heavy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's too heavy. Yeah, so
Heavy.
you would think a heavy would have it drape better, but it doesn't. It doesn't drape well at all. So I didn't want to do that, but it's your top. You get to do whatever you want, but just be aware that two sides are going to show, and then the fabric requirement. Really, you could do a knit or woven as long as you like both sides. All right, so let's talk a little bit about sewing, because you've got to sew. You only use the front of the tank. You don't need the back. Did the darts, hemmed, finished off the neck edge. I didn't show in that picture because I forgot. You know that? When I did this part right here, let's just say that's the front. Yeah, that's the front. Extend that shoulder seam 1 inch. Because what that shoulder seam does is it wraps underneath. This is a huge advantage of seeing this stuff in real person. This unwraps, so you can see that this edge doesn't have to be finished, but because it's sewn under here at the shoulder, it actually automatically falls underneath, so it doesn't even have to be finished. And so, you guys, last Thursday when I did the little YouTube thing, I showed close up a way to treat the neck when there is no back facing and the front is finished. So the way you wrap it all is priceless. I showed you that purposely because we've got several concepts coming up where the back is finished and the front is not, or vice versa, and this is the case. So what that extended does, that extended width, is it's going to wrap the back seam and you sew it together. So when it's finished and it turns it out, it holds it underneath all the way down. So that little thing is really important to know that. And then, of course, the tank top, you want to put the tank top under the princess seam. Split it between the princess seams, because you're not going to know where to sew it to because you don't have a back tank top. But you're better off to split it between the princess seam, and you should be good. What questions? You have questions? Mm-hmm. So this front edge doesn't even have to be finished. It just goes up and down. That's the back side. That's the right side. I sewed in the sleeves exactly like normal. Belinda, we were talking earlier about the advantage and disadvantage. On the back of this, you can see it's kind of like Brooks top, but it's much more fitted than what the Brooks top is.
So it's going to be more slimming.
Definitely. And it has a tendency to come in, too, the way it hangs. It's really pretty. And Brooks top doesn't have a set-in sleeve. It's not that structured.
No.
It's just, so it's kind of the similar idea, but a much more structured. I like it. I mean, I really liked it. I just love it on. It's really pretty. I always, when I make new, it's like, what do I wear? Do I wear this or this? I never know what to wear because this is adorable on. It's really, really cute. Okay, so that's the wrap top. Questions. Is the orange top front drape attached at the shoulder? Yes. The tank top is built in. So when you put it on, the tank top's there. You can't change it out. How are we doing on questions? Can you show how the back is finished? I did. Oh, you mean the back neckline? Well, that's where I was talking about. That is just serged and stitched and turned under. And then you wrap that front around it. The best way for me to tell you how to do that is to watch that Thursday night when I got to the close-up. What top did I do Thursday night?
You did the pleat.
What did I do?
The flat ruffle. The flat ruffle.
This was a quiz, you guys.
The flat ruffle.
Flat
Oh,
ruffle,
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. They both
It
did
looks like a
very
pleat
well.
to me, but
That's right, because the flat ruffle wrapped around the front and the back had to be finished. It's the same thing. Except this is wrapping to the inside.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking, how are you all going to ever do this? So I did the flat ruffle ahead of time so that you could see how to do that. So when you're looking at how to join the front and the back, go back to that video and you'll see it. And I think you'll understand. We showed a close-up. Did you understand?
Yeah.
You guys can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay. So I think that's what you meant is the back, not the back of the top. All right, are we good? Okay, that brings us to, can you show pattern changing 650 to a V? Just take your French curve and go zoop. That's it, girls. You know, actually, go back to that picture. Go back to number 2A. I showed it on here. There you go. See right there where we come from the shoulder to the, just that red line? I think it's red.
Yes.
But don't do a straight line. Do a French curve. Use a French curve. Otherwise it will just, it just won't look good.
Turn the curve depending on how much you want to show.
Thank you. I was just going to say that. And I was like, do I enter that or not? Because you guys, the curve, like on my top, I made it into a V-neck. And because you have to know when you make it into a V-neck, you are more likely to be exposed than with the collar. If you leave the collar off and make a V-neck, it's going to be more exposure than when you have how it comes up and opens and has the collar on it. So I flipped the curve out, and if you look carefully at my neck edge, you'll see that this actually goes, the camera's backwards, I can't tell which way to look at it, but it goes this way. It actually goes, it convexes rather than concaves.
Yes.
Okay, and so you can take the curve and put it on like the skinny part, like if you have our curve, like 1 to 11. If you use those numbers, instead of turning it concave, make it convex. It will still look like a straight line, like mine still looks like a V-neck, but it is not. I mean, it is, but it's covering more because I want to cover more. Is that the best way to say it? Terrible way to say it. Sorry, you guys. I should have had a drawing of that. I apologize. Okay, Belinda is ready to do any other top issues. Laura, you did amazing. Let's do the dress. Okay, I want to show you before we drape this. Do you want me to pin this closed?
Probably.
Oh, she's got center fronts pinned. Mm-hmm. You face them and then I'll turn because I want them to see you. How's Belinda? Everybody had a good Christmas. We had a fun chat before we all came to see you.
Yay.
What was I going to say? Oh, let's show picture number 3. Yeah, this is another example. There's a lot of wraps that are being shown with this little peplum. So that's the reason earlier, again, I talked to you about marking the waist. Because how that is done is all you have to do is mark the waist, make a seam, and then add, cut and slash and make a little ruffle for the bottom. Don't add a lot, you'll look silly. In fact, I don't even think it's 1.5 to 1. That will just look silly. But, maybe add your hip plus 6 inches. And then sew it back together, and then you can make the tie slash. Let's go to the next one. I wanted you to see this also. A lot is being done with this wrap. Very classic look. Notice that the wrap, as it is close to the body, the pant leg is wider. And I like that look. I really think it's pretty. Now, again, that's that 3/4 pant, you guys. It's coming in, and we're trying to ignore it, but it's coming in pretty strong. And then go one more. Nope, don't go that one. Okay, so if you just look around anywhere, y'all see wraps are everywhere. They're all over the runway for spring. I just really wanted to take the base and show you kind of what we could do. All right, Miss Belinda. Let's cut. So, again, this is a quiz. What about her length? Is her length okay?
No.
Yes, it is.
Always.
I mean, your bust point. You don't have to look.
Oh, no. My bust point is fine.
Okay. Your bust point's not.
But my waist is not right.
Well, if your waist isn't right, you don't have to raise or lower it. You just take it in.
Well, except that where it connects here, it's going to connect low.
Well, it doesn't. Don't connect it there then. Just connect it where you are. Don't follow the pattern, silly girl. You run into big problems if you follow the pattern.
That's why I want to do this.
My children told me that years ago. They didn't want to listen to their mother. Okay?
That's why I want to shorten the waist.
No, that's too much work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's way too much work. I'm glad you said that. You guys, we don't rehearse this beforehand.
And I argue with you a lot.
It's okay. You need to get out of your mind what's in your mind. It's not arguing, it's bantering. Is that fair? No, but seriously, you have to say what you think because it would be a lot. There's no right waist place. Just make the waist where you want it by either taking it in, moving the ties. Don't shorten it. That takes up too much time.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay.
Would you still do it? You'd still
probably.
Hey, if you want to spend twice the time on your pattern,
I just want this spot to be closer to my waist.
So you would lengthen it.
I would actually.
That space is your waist. It's exactly where your hands are.
Okay.
But you can raise it up and lower it. I'm good with all that. You want to make it yours. I'm comfortable with that. Okay, so your sizing. Tell us about what size you chose and how'd you choose it.
Okay.
You're the same size.
Yes.
Look, there's a 4D
3 at the
on here.
I'm 3 at the shoulder, 4D at the bust.
Got it. Okay.
I chose the size because.
Did you make any changes? She didn't ask me.
No, the only change I made was go from 3 to 4. That's all I did.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
I knew that some of the blouses that I have are a little bit too snug on a 3, so I felt like I needed to go to the 4 at the bust for sure.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to worry with the gapping at the bust line.
Yeah, you don't want a negative ease. We talk a lot about like knits. I mean, mine's a knit that I have on, but it's just the same size as my woven, except for the sleeve. I didn't make any changes to the woven body when I did my knit. So you can't have a negative ease and a wrap. They're called antonyms. They don't go together at all. Can't do that. So in order to keep the wrapped, you got to have, it's got to be right there at your body. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is really pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really pretty on. Have you made the wrap dress?
When I was quite a bit larger.
Yeah.
The fitting was totally different.
Oh, this is cool.
Never did
Have you done the wrap?
complete it.
So this is good for both of you.
So one of the things I did notice when I was quite a bit larger was this would go like this.
Okay.
And I know that from a fitting class you had before that you would take that dart here to
so
take
that's
care
when
of
you
that.
talk about angles changing in the bottom. There are some angles that change that you have to have horizontal darts. So just be aware of that. Hers is falling down. We're not going to worry about that because
no, I'm good there.
Yeah, there are some cases. They don't happen that often though.
No, I just remembered from class that one time because I had already made the wrap. I finished it. Never did really wear it because it was a learning and I didn't know what was wrong until I went to Spiffy and I saw somebody else
and the main reason, you guys, I actually did this wrap, the dress in particular, is because a lot of the dresses, and obviously Diane von Furstenberg put this dress on the map, the dresses are not wrapped all the way to this seam, which is 8 inches of wrap. It goes 4 inches to each side of center frame, so you have 8 inches because this part wraps under and this part wraps over. You have 8 inches of covering. People say to me all the time, I hate wraps because they unwrap. They don't unwrap if they're done correctly, which is why I love this pattern because I got the chance to do it like I knew it was correct. That pin really
got you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think it's bleeding, but anyway, can I wipe my blood on
Yes, there you go.
Okay, so anyway, that's why I did it, and I, it's been a while since we did the pattern, but it's lovely. I mean, it really is a lovely pattern. Okay, so size is okay then.
Size is good.
Because you're new to go. But leave seam allowance if you don't know that you need more at the bottom. Just leave seam allowance. And then,
which I did.
Don't ever open up more in the front and less in the back. Your circumference is equal. All the way around, your circumference is total. So don't think about letting out some seams and not everything. Equalize it all the way around. You want to look balanced. And so that's the way to do it. Okay, then we start with depth. And we start with Miss Belinda. And Miss Belinda, if she had a collar on, that collar would not be happy.
No, it wouldn't be.
So we're going to slash Belinda. This is Laura, take 2. Laura, take 2, and you all know how to do this, right? So is there any questions regarding slashing the upper back? And Belinda has kindly brought us this extra, which I didn't even think about. And again, you're supposed to, you just come in here and I should come over here so that I can give her a little slash. You want to come probably about 4 inches down. You want to be above the blades. Because if you're below the blades, it will drop and it won't come up. You want the garment to come up, not go down. It is not, there's not enough depth. Her back is more curved than the body. So what Belinda was saying earlier, she says she wants this to come up an inch, she'll add an inch back here. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what she does.
Yeah, got a little seam gauge. I stick them the back of my neck.
A neck seam gauge. That will be our next little trick that we make. I don't want to clip your bra straps. Okay, so there we go, and we could leave her air conditioned if we want. And you can see automatically it just pops up, doesn't it? It just really wants to go there. That is the beauty of doing it on a person, you know that? Because if you're doing it by yourself, you really don't see that immediate movement. But I can't help you with that. I mean, you know, I can. I guess go to a workshop, but you guys don't. You can do this. You guys can do this. The only ones who go to workshops are the ones we just like to go to workshops. Workshops save time. That's what I think. They are fun, though, I gotta tell you. I go to workshops because I miss seeing you all. And I'm going to San Diego in 2 weeks. Y'all should be there. You saw that email where it's 60 degrees, 65 in San Diego and 20 in Minneapolis. Or Chicago. I think Chicago's even worse. Denver's had a terrible winter this year. And here it's going to be what tomorrow? 74.
Yes. Wow. Good for sinuses.
I'm going swimming.
Allergies.
It's good for sinuses?
No, I was being facetious.
Oh, it's bad for, is it really? It's bad?
Well, all this change.
The constant change.
Yeah, and the winds
bad.
that come in with it.
Oh, I never thought of that. Gosh, I'm glad I don't have allergies. Have you always had allergies?
Just this year got me.
Really? What'd you do different?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Too much drinking, Laura. Too much wine, right?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so what you want to do when I'm pulling this up is just gingerly pull it up until you can see that the back is not wrinkled, because if you add too much, you'll create problems and you don't want to do that. Okay, easy enough, you guys?
Easy enough.
Any questions? Do you change your shoulder angle when you do this?
I did not.
Do you typically have to?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do? It looks good. It looks good.
I'm not having to change the angle of my shoulder as much since I've learned that I've got.
Are you standing up straight? Shoulder. Are you standing up straight? I don't mean now, silly girl. My mother used to always say to me, "Hold still." Now I know why she said that to me. Hold still. Quit moving.
Must be something moms always say.
I know. Sewing mothers, right?
Yeah.
Sewing mothers.
Mom's probably laughing right now watching this.
I know. I'm going to turn this up here and see, she's got this little gappy stuff too here. See, it can just be, you know, I think a lot of us don't even know to recognize it. It can just be so much better. So when you're looking at the armhole and all of this, move your arm back there for just, I know it's awkward, but just tighten this all up. That's really what you want. And sometimes a lot of you think that this is circumference, but when you fix the depth, can y'all see that? I want to make sure you can see that. You think it's circumference, but when you go and fix the depth, what it does is it angles that armhole back into the body, and you can actually have extra circumference if the depth is where it should be. Is that fair? You guys,
it's very fair.
I really appreciate y'all coming here tonight. Thank you, Laura. Thank you,
No problem.
I actually learned the difference between a horizontal depth line and a vertical depth line this weekend, fitting a jacket to myself.
Cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
What jacket were you fitting to yourself?
I knew she was going to ask that. The Unlined Jacket. Armani's
okay.
Unlined
15,
Jacket.
Yeah. 15, 16, I think it was. Okay. Just bring it forward just a little bit. So when you take out of that side seam, you've got to continue in the back. So it's interesting that both of these, we've really kind of made the exact same changes on them. Means I need to fire them and get some new fit on them. Yeah, hers doesn't want to stop at the back seam either. And again, whenever you're doing the back, it's obviously a little harder to see. So just, you're going to have to take it off trial and error, put it back on. You can stop it at that pin. That's what I would do, is once you know that you need a dart in the front, do the dart there, stop it at the princess seam, do the dart in the back, stop it at the princess seam, and when you put it back on, you'll see that it just doesn't look right, and that it'll look better if you take this amount short. And see, this is getting your waist where you want it, Belinda.
Mm-hmm.
So you get your way anyway. And then, okay, I think we're good with that. I would just take some of this out. I don't think you need a 4 in the body. I think you've lost. I would go down to a 3 in the body.
3 in the body?
Because see, what happens with a wrap, you guys, is with a wrap you'll have, like what I have on, you may not be able to see it, it's dark, it's charcoal, but you'll have a tie that brings them together. And if the back is too big, then the ties will go like this.
Well, and I knew there, but I knew I was going to need the 4 in the hips also.
I don't think you need a 4 in the hips. Look.
Yeah, but once you sit down and it spreads.
Well, get a knife. I don't know. I mean, if you want that much, you still have to take it in at the waist.
Definitely in the waist.
If you want to do extra in the hips, you guys, you got to take this out in the waist.
Definitely need it in the waist.
And so, you know, just where the ties are at least. Otherwise, if the back is too large, that whole back will get pulled to the front, and the neckline will shift. You won't find any stabilizing features. Like with mine, I can bend, that neckline's not moving. It's not going anywhere. And that's what you want when you're wearing a wrap neck. There's nothing worse than looking down all night, seeing if you're exposed or whatever. It's just the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, I knew when I put it on that the waist was going to have to be altered.
So just take it in and then go to the larger at the bottom if that's what you feel like you want. But this is going to bring you a lot of stabilization, and use all of your seams.
Yes.
And just come in a little bit. You can put that tie anywhere you want, Belinda. And it looks better too. I mean, it's still white, but that looks so much nicer. You look so much thinner. And all these seams will go away. Yeah, that looks really pretty. All right. Yay!
Forward shoulder.
I don't see you have a forward shoulder. I mean, it might be a little bit. What's Laura laughing at? Do you think it is?
No, if you like it. I mean, I don't think so. I'm agreeing with you.
We'll move it forward because she wants a forward shoulder. How much?
Right there. Is it there?
Quarter, half inch, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember where this is a good point anyway. Where this shoulder seam goes, it's totally your call. If you want it more forward, we'll put it more forward. Just remember you got to do the sleeve too.
Oh, I know.
Did you baste?
Well, yes, I did baste. But I did tie with a hand knot at the end so that it wouldn't come unsewn.
Such a prude. Okay. All right, so I'm moving the whole thing forward a half an inch. So we're adding to the back, taking away from the front.
I usually don't at the neck. Did you do it at the neck too?
If you're moving it forward, why not? Just curious.
Well, because you never told me I could do that before.
Well, you're moving it forward.
I know, but we've always moved it at just the armhole.
It actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any difference.
Because it certainly makes it a whole lot easier if I do it all the way across.
There you go. Learn something new every day. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. It fits beautifully. It hangs really nicely. It's really pretty. Again, you got to do the sleeve though.
Yes.
I have so many bust issues. With a larger bust, it seems to be harder to get it to fit right without looking like Dolly Parton in a muumuu. That is an excuse. Will moving the tie help define the waistline? Of course, girls. Why did you think I put a wrap and a princess seam together? So that Dolly Parton would not look like... What did she look like? A what in a movie?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Oh, okay.
That's her.
So this is... the goal is to make you look skinny. That's the goal. And you don't have to go on a diet. Just do it with your clothing. Don't tell my boyfriend I said that. Just do it with your clothing, okay? So, yes, you can bring it under the bust. You can tighten as much as you want in through here. Wrap it a little lower. There's so many beautiful ways to do it, you guys. But the pattern, honestly, you've noticed we haven't changed the length. They've gotten to the right size. If you're not in the right size, scrap it and start over. Don't try to, it should be really close to what you need to be. If you know you're bigger in the bottom and you have to go one size top and one size bottom, that's okay too. 3, 4, 4, 4. Where in San Diego will the workshop be held? We're at a Doubletree Hotel in Del Mar. We're actually in Del Mar. It's not really San Diego, but it's close enough. I call it San Diego. How did you know it was a horizontal dart needed? This is why I'm helping you. Well, how did I know? Because you had extra fabric. There was extra fabric there. And if you took away circumference, it wasn't taking care of that. It can only be L, C, or D. It can only be length, circumference, or depth. So it wasn't working with L. It's not logical that it's L anyway. C, it just doesn't take out the fullness. It's depth. It's a depth issue. I just try the others and see what works for you. But length would not have worked. Circumference would not have worked. So I made the dart. The dart is also very logical because remember that in every pattern, when you make a pattern. Hey, by the way, the black book is on sale. I'm thinking pattern making is in here, and a lot of you don't know pattern making, but we put this on sale for a few days. And I had a lady who got the book, and she said it. Well, I won't tell you what she said, but it's X-rated. But anyway, it's good. So it makes sense that this is the bust dart, but it was here. And if I took a D bust dart and I moved it up to the shoulder, it's still a D. But if the D dart wasn't big enough before I moved it, then there's dart residual that needs to be here. So that's why I said on Laura, it needs to be kind of a D plus dart.
I may have confused him a little bit when I had said what I had learned fitting my jacket, because this is what I consider a horizontal dart because it is changing the horizontal.
She's so nice to take all the blame. It's Belinda's fault. The whole reason you all don't know how to do this is Belinda. No, sweetie, don't be silly. Yeah, so that's why I did the dart.
Yeah, it's uneven.
Was that the question? What was the question? How does the dress fit when she sits down? Well, that's why she gave herself... Is it comfortable?
It's comfortable now here. This is where I tend to spread.
Okay, so she knows that about herself. So even when I tried to take it away, she didn't let me take it away because she knew she needed it. You have to make a dress for sitting. You don't have to with a top, but you do have to make a dress for sitting because it'll unwrap. Is the armhole too low under the arm? No. No, it shows her bra, but she'll have a sleeve on it. And remember our templates? We have different armhole sizes. This is a blouse armhole. So we have a sleeveless, knit, blouse. Don't ever look at an armhole without a sleeve in it and judge whether it's right or not. Measure, get your templates. Okay? Okay, did you sew the darts? Do you sew the darts? Oh, bless your heart. You don't think they're in the final garment, do you? They're in the tissue. They're in the tissue.
You sew the dart onto the muslin, and then you take the muslin apart and make it.
It is not in the final product. That's probably what you're struggling with. You're probably somebody who's new here. Sorry. So no, this is not in the final garment. This is only in the pattern. That's why we're making a muslin, because we couldn't do this kind of stuff. We don't want it to be in the final product. We want it to be in the pattern. We want the pattern to lay flat, and then we make it all up, and everybody will think we're just perfect. This perfect bodies is what we want people to think. It's a great illusion, isn't it?
It's a great illusion.
Okay, what else? Are we good there? Okay, let me show you what I wanted you to do with the dress. Everybody's going to do this. I was at Neiman Marcus, and I walked up the stairs at... have you gone to Neiman's for the sales?
Oh, they picked up trash this morning.
I saw, and I was shopping the sales, and I saw a really nice lady who obviously watched the PBS show because she knew who I was, and I can't believe I don't remember her name. I feel really bad. I don't remember her name. But anyway, she came up to me. She knew exactly what I was doing. I was like, shh, don't tell everybody here what I'm doing. So I want to bring up picture number 5. I loved this dress. This is Acris. I want you to look at the price.
$1,400.
That's before the tax.
That's right.
Just for the record. Tax on $1,400? That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like almost $150 right there.
Yeah.
And Neiman's is in every city, so you can't buy it someplace else and have it shipped. You still got to pay the tax. Okay. So, except you can go to Oregon. They don't have sales tax there, which is why the Neiman's, the Nordstrom's does so well. Okay, so what I want to do is show you. Can you show the next picture? That was just for the price. I just wanted you to see the price. I really like this dress. It was very cute. So that's the back. The front. So this is a, Brent, what's the word I'm supposed to use? Composition of stripes, right? It's a composition of stripes. I love the way the stripes are used. Keep in mind, you can do it any way you want, but here's the black one that I did. And I used, I just love this little dress. What's the fabric? The fabric is $27.98. Your fabric requirements, well, I guess it depends. That is a woven. I wanted to do a knit. So I did a knit. So when you're doing a knit, especially with the sleeves, you got to make sure that you've got stretch in both directions. In this case, I needed to make sure I had stretch in both directions. And so I did. So I want you to notice there on the left side, the stripes are vertical. On the right side, the stripes are horizontal. I did the same thing. Notice at her waist, let's go back to that photo just for a second. There's a little juxtaposition at her waist on the right side. I did not like that. I felt like there was too much going on at her waist. So I deleted that. But I do want you to show the back now. And I was crazy about this back. Like, that back sold me on the whole dress, which is ridiculous when you like the back of a dress enough to do that. What's that?
Except I wouldn't put it on my hips there.
No, it's below the hips. That's the beauty of it.
You talking about the top
You have
line?
skinny hips.
No, I'm talking about those. Yeah,
You
I
have
just
the
can't get. I can't. Yeah, those horizontals right there
You
across the
have
back.
skinny hips. You're
I'm
allowed to
sorry.
do that now. No, you're allowed to say anything you want. Don't be shy here. Okay, so I want to show you the dress that I did and just kind of how I did it. It's really fun to do, very easy to do, and I loved it. I just really loved it.
Taking that down and then across.
See, and you can do it all. See, and that's the beauty of sewing.
That's what I would do different.
You can do anything you want. The back is done vertical, and it's a princess seam, but you don't even see the princess seam. It's just all vertical. You don't even see that it's a princess seam. The picture was a shirt dress. I did it in the wrap because I liked it better. When you have a wrap dress, this wrap dress, the bottom does not have any fitting to it. So once you drop below the waist, those seams are straight. So if you notice, like 6 inches down, below the waist, where I cut it off, I overlapped and made one solid back because all those seams could overlap. There was no fitting, and that's when I cut that angular line. And then you just turn the fabric to different directions. I love that. I just think that is the coolest
really
look.
cool.
And then notice all the way that the sleeves go with the side that the body is on. So when the body's going vertical, the sleeve goes vertical. And when the body is horizontal, the sleeve goes horizontal. And again, you don't even see the princess seam. There's a princess seam right in here. That's called matching. And you don't have any matching from front to back because one's going up and down and one's going across. So it's just a fun dress to make. And gosh, I just think the idea is amazing.
It's pretty.
$1,400. I just, I said the other night, I said something about you can't save money by sewing. You could buy a sewing machine for less money than what you can pay for the dress. And we'll teach you how to fit it, okay? Okay, so we are way past time. Not way past, but we are past. We've been gabbing. I did want to tell you one thing, though. I think I have the pieces up here. When I did this, the cut on the dress, you've got the big piece. To go back to that picture for just a little bit. When you look at the blue and you see the horizontal, the stripe, the back, go to the rear end for me. Okay, here. See how little that little piece is? That's this right here. What I did is I laid it down on the fabric and I cut it. But cut this little piece bigger than what you need it to be. Then make sure the stripes line up. And then you can put the piece back on and recut it. And that way it gives you an error factor when you are doing something like this. Part of the reason this dress is so expensive is this has to be this is single layer cutting. Like this dress, there is labor in this dress, and we all know labor in China is a lot of money, right? Wink, wink. But anyway, it is more labor intensive than to cut a dress out singular. How much yardage for the dress? I use 3 yards. I needed pretty much all of 3 yards. How much extra yardage for the dress? I would say just a yard. Again, because the length of the dress, it depends on your fabric, obviously, but the length of the dress was wider than, you can't fold it, you have to cut a single layer, yada yada. So 3 yards did it for me. All right, girls, come on.
Yay.
I wish we had pretty dresses. We should have had you choose pretty dresses to put you in. So, any questions for Belinda or Laura? Don't you love them being here, you guys? They do all the work.
Fine. Good to meet you.
Is the armhole too low? No, because remember you have templates and you can make the armhole anything you want, but don't ever change an armhole before you know what sleeve you're going to use. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because you can raise it up and then sew on a sleeve that's so little you can't move your arm.
This is true.
Don't do that, girls.
Done that.
All right, so we're going to see everybody in San Diego next week. Watch for the new patterns to go out. So here's the deal, you guys. At this stage of the game, we pre-sell patterns because patterns sell in numbers that we don't know and we can't anticipate. And we've shot it wrong over and over and over. So the purpose of the pre-sale is to figure out how many patterns we need to order. There are some patterns that we do that are one print only. Just because they're faddish, they're stylish. We don't need to keep them in the records. So it helps us tremendously to do a pre-sale. We do not have the capacity to take in, or we don't know how. Maybe somebody could tell us, to place an order and then charge it when it gets sent. We're not that formal. It just gets charged. You put in the number. We don't even have credit card numbers. We don't have any of that. So when you place the pre-order, you get charged, and then we're going to ship them in a few weeks. But it helps us tremendously to get those numbers. We hopefully will have them by Friday. If not by Friday, we'll have them on Tuesday. Okay? So that's what's upcoming.
Good.
Good. I'm excited.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And all they get is a bottle of water.
And
I
a
should
good
at least
time.
have a bottle.
good time.
And a
I
good
should
time.
at least have a bottle of wine. We could do that. We've got. Okay. Anyway. We won't go there. All right. So we've no questions. Benjamin, we're good. Brett, we're good. All right. So from
Good
behind
deal.
the cameras, in front of the cameras.
Night.
What do we say? We say happy sewing.
Happy
That's
sewing.
Welcome, welcome, happy sewing. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See y'all in 2 weeks. Bye.